Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and in this video we'll see about managers and query sets. So let us understand what are managers and what are query sets. So you go to your terminal. Over here you just go to your use.py, that is say hello function, and here just remove this calculate function. We don't require this, so I'll just delete this. Okay, now here what we'll do, we'll import the product class. Okay, so from store dot models, so I'll import the product. All right, now if you see, every Django model has an attribute called objects, and this returns a manager objects. Basically a manager is nothing but an interface between the database and you. So in this case we have a bunch of methods for querying and manipulating the data. It is just like a remote control, guys. So you have a TV and you have a remote, and the remote is having a bunch of functions for menu, for changing the channels and all. Exactly the same way we are having this manager objects. Okay, now if you see over here what happens, there are few functions like all functions, get functions and filter functions. So if I write let's say if I write product dot objects dot all, then this will return me all the objects related to this product table. Okay, but instead of product, what it will do, it will return me a query set. ठीक है, अगर normal अगर देखा जाऊँ, तो अगर मैं product equals to products dot objects dot all, it should return me all the products related to the product table, but instead of product it returns me a query table. ठीक है, so I'll write query, so query set. Now why query set, why not product table? That will come in the subsequent slides. We'll see why it is like that. Similarly we have instead of all we have get functions. Okay, get function is nothing but for getting a single object. Similarly we have filtering functions also. So I'll write filter, so it will filter out a particular object out of that table. Okay, so these are the methods for getting the query sets. So over here, instead of products we are getting the query set. A query set is nothing but an object that encapsulates a query. Okay, so at some point of time Django gonna evaluate this query set and return the particular products which that query set is asking for by a SQL statement. So when is that Django is going to return the product? What are the two points when the Django is going to evaluate the query sets? First is when we iterate over a query set. So if we write product in query set, okay, if I write like this, print product. Okay, so what it will do, it will print me the products, all the products which are there in this query set. So for this you just Control S, save it, and go to your Django terminal browser, sorry, and over here refresh this. Okay, and then come to SQL. Here you can see that the first two things are there. These are the queries which Django is using for its functions. The third one is what we have written over there. So basically it is saying that ID, title, slug is selecting all IDs, titles, slug, description, unit price, inventory from the store products. Okay, so if you select over here, it will return you all the items which are there inside that product table. Okay, like you can see here, so there are I think 1000 rows which we have populated. So if I go to last, it will be 1000 rows. Yes. Okay, so these are the queries which Django has written to the database, and in turn it has taken these items from the database. Okay, all right. The second time when Django will evaluate the query set is when I write it in the form of list. So if I write list and I write query set, then at this particular point of time Django will evaluate the query set and return the particular objects out of that table. Okay, similarly if I do slicing, if I write query set and I write like this, then it will basically it will return me all the products from 0 to end. If I write like 0 to 5, then it will return me first 5 products of the table. Okay, so in this way it is returning the products instead of query sets. Okay, now you would be wondering that instead of writing it like this, why not, if you are using it, let's say all, why it is not returning you all the products which are there in the query sets? This is because we need to write a complex query. So when we write a complex queries at that particular point of time, this particular query set will be helpful. Okay, so if I write like query set equals to, okay, yeah, query if I write like this, query set dot, if I filter, okay, then further I'll filter it. Okay, then what I'll do, I'll order by. Okay, now this is, if you see, is a query set, guys. Okay, this filter function is nothing but it will return a new query. Out of that new query, out of this new query, this filter function will further filter out the objects out of it, followed by this order by methods, which will further filter out the objects, and it will return you the objects which are there in the query sets when called upon. Okay, so let's say if query set, instead of query set, it returns the all the products which are having thousands of rows and millions of millions of objects in this. So in that case, what will happen, the moment I'll write dot all, what it will do, it will return me the all the rows which are there, all the items which are there in that. But what if I am only interested in a subset of the products or the objects? So in that case, while writing the complex query, these things are helpful. So I'll quickly recap it, what exactly it is. Basically, these all dot get and filter, the methods which are there, it returns a query set instead of the actual objects. Query set we are returning because we want to write complex queries. So for writing complex queries, for making it easy, we are returning it as a query set. So what will happen, query set, if had it not been a query set, had it been all the objects, had it written all the objects which are there, then in that case it would be difficult for us to write the query sets, because the moment we write all, it will return me all the products which may be 1000 in columns or 100 in columns or 1000 in rows, like that. So what if I am not interested in those things, we are interested in a set of this, basically a subset of those objects. So for that purpose we are using this query sets. Okay, now the above method has returned a query set, but we also have some method which returns object immediately. For example, if I write query set equals to dot objects, okay, dot count. So basically this will return me a number of tables which are there in the number of basically records which are there in the table. Okay, so this will not return me a query set, this will return me simply the number of counts of records in the table. For this we need not write a complex query. Okay, so this way this was the basics of managers and the query sets. So next class, guys, we will see about the retrieving the objects. So thank you so much for watching me, and I'll see you in next class, guys. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, so as and when I upload my video, you will be reaching to you at the very first instance. All right, so thank you so much, and take care. See you in next class. Bye.